Hello everyone. So last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I quickly reviewed a Lenovo laptop and I was generally displeased with it. So it went back to the store. As promised, I returned it. In exchange, I decided to give it a try with an Acer laptop. This is the Acer E15. Now, I'm gonna start first with the physical features and layout of the computer, and I'll finish with the technical specifications. So today you're gonna hear a much more positive review, because that's a computer that I think I will keep. Number one, let's start with the visible things. We have a 15.6-inch display, pretty much standard for a laptop these days. Not too big, not too small. You can see it's still portable and you can still see some decent size image. Now, the keyboard is one thing that is rather pleasing. It's almost a full size, as much as this term could be used for a laptop, almost a full size keyboard. It has the numeric pad, which is a great convenience, and actually the keys, despite the fact that I really dislike the chiclet or the island type keyboards, these keys have a good click to them, and I think they're among the more comfortable keys I've used on any laptop so far. The power button is right above the F1 key, nothing like the improperly placed and extremely inconvenient power button of the Lenovo I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. Now, the touchpad is not something that I'm impressed with. I mean, it does its job. It's rather sensitive. I would say 5% of the cases when you tap it, your tap might not get registered as a click, but hey, big deal. It's a low price laptop. I don't expect much from it. The one thing that I dislike about the touchpad, though, is the fact that it doesn't have any actual left or right click buttons. I would have really enjoyed seeing an actual hardware left and right click button. It's something you almost don't see in any of the newer laptops these days. I'll give an example why this is inconvenient. Of course, this one has left and right mechanical click. You have to just press the touchpad in the lower left or the lower right corner. The only thing is, if you have to select, you have to hold, click, hold, and select an area, and happen to do this, and now you're selecting, sometimes the software, the driver of the touchpad, interprets that not as, hey, enlarge my selection, but it interprets it as zoom out, zoom in, and that's a bit annoying. Anyhow, not a big deal, just mentioning it. Now we're gonna go to the side of the laptop. A multi-DVD drive, DVD burner on the right side. On the left side you have an USB port and a multi-card reader, and probably you're now wondering, is that all? Actually, the larger part of the interfaces, of the hardware interfaces, is situated at the back of the laptop. And that might be a bit unusual nowadays. It certainly conforms with tradition. I mean, if you pick a laptop that was produced, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years ago, you will see that most of them did have many of the hardware interfaces at their back. Not a big issue. The only problem I'm having is with this one here. This is the headphones and the microphone jack. I don't think that this one should be in the back of the computer. I think this one should be on its sides, just because you happen to reach way too often for this one, and reaching over or having to get out of your chair, because, well, we don't like getting out of our chairs these days, it's a bit inconvenient. Nevertheless, not a big criticism. I kind of find it an interesting solution. Alright, so I just flipped the computer over and you can see the ventilation ports. The ventilation slots are actually at the back of the computer. There is There is a series of tiny ventilation intake slots here, but I actually realize they are not essential. In other words, if you happen to carry your laptop and in your bedroom and put it on your blanket or in your lap in a way that any air intake from the bottom of that computer would be completely impaired, this is not a critical situation for this laptop. It doesn't overheat. I think the air can find its way into the inside of the computer through the many tiny holes, slots, interface ports, etc. The most important thing is that the vents that get the air out of the computer are not on its bottom but are at its back. So no complaints here. Now, one thing that's weird, and you're probably noticing it already, if you look at the front left and front right corner, you will see tiny slots there, tiny vents. Actually, these are the speakers of the laptop. For some reason, Acer decided to put the speakers facing down. And that's not a big problem if you have your laptop sitting on its legs, on these tiny rubber pads, and it's placed on a table, on a flat surface. But if we go back to that proverbial bedroom and you have it on your blanket, in your lap, then you will see that, well, these areas get completely covered by, and the sound that comes out of the computer is a bit muffled. So I think this might be the biggest design flaw of the laptop. So at the end of the day, I think that despite that the Acer E15 is a very cheap computer, the design is not that bad. Now I'm going to talk just very shortly about the technical specifications. The processor is really a chipmunk processor. It's an Intel Celeron. It's not very fast. Do not expect miracles. Do not expect any speeds from that computer. It comes with 4 GB of RAM memory. You can easily upgrade that. This is not a problem actually. I was looking at analogous models which were more expensive just because they had double the amount of RAM memory. It wasn't worth the price difference because anyone could install an additional 4 and turn it into an 8 GB machine, and it's gonna cost you no more than $30. It comes with Windows 10 pre-installed, and this is not going to be the case for a long period of time because just like I was in a rush to return the Lenovo back to the store, I'm really rushing to completely wipe out Windows 10 from this computer and install my own copy of Windows 7. And number one, this will give me a better operation system, which will not be spying on everything I do on my computer. And number two, it will actually give me way more hardware resources. This is it, the Acer E15, an entry-level laptop. I got it to substitute the Lenovo IdeaPad 100. I'm very pleased with it. I'm gonna keep it. And if you ever wonder whether to buy this computer, if you're on a budget, I think it's a very good choice.